welcome to the Trophy Trust, your weekly podcast of PlayStation Trophy Hunters. I'm one of your hosts, The Dazil, and joining me this evening we have SSG Punish,
Hey guys.
and we also have Klair 88.
Hey everyone.
Right, this is not a regular Trophy Trust episode. We're going to try something a little different in this particular installment of the Trophy Trust. We're not going to have what we've been playing, we're not going to have news, we're not going to have tricky trophies. Instead, we're trying a new type of side episode to go alongside our regular programming, if you'd like to call it that. What we're doing is we're going to choose an old game in this potential series of episodes that doesn't have trophies, something from a console platform that never had trophies or achievements or anything of that manner, something very old or well-known, nostalgic to some people. And what we're going to do is we're going to discuss it very casual manner, and we're going to try and brainstorm out a trophy list for it. Now, what we're starting off in this pilot episode, if you wish to call it that, is we're going to look at Metal Gear Solid 1, the classic 1998 PlayStation 1 game. Obviously, a few years later, in 2004, we had Twin Snakes as well, and that sort of refreshed the gameplay, but we're just looking at the very original one, the one that a lot of people is near and dear to a lot of people. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through bosses, story beats, and miscellaneous trophies, and we're going to kind of come up with a trophy list that we would like to have in the game. So if it came out again today and it had trophies, here's what we'd like in it. So what we're going to start off with is boss trophies. Nice and easy. Now, before we go into that, though, guys, let's start with Klair. Metal Gear Solid 1, what does it mean to you? Is it a very nostalgic game for you?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I wanted to be here on this episode, so that I would have the chance to kind of drool over what it might be like to earn the platinum in that game. It's very defining for me. I literally remember being like playing like the demo of it, and then I'm playing it in a friend's house and not having it myself just yet. And then I was so obsessed with it. I had like the PlayStation magazines at the time. Like I used to get like little miniature books which were walkthroughs. You remember that? Like
Yeah.
I remember I got one of those and I even started reading about the game and everything just because I knew I was going to get it like at the end of the month, and I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to need to know everything about it. But it really left a mark on me, and I loved the entire series, and Kojima himself. Like any kind of game that he does, I'll be buying day one as a result of that, but it definitely is something special to me.
Yeah, I can mirror pretty much what Claire has just said. I played the demo disc countless times up until it ended just after the DARPA chief encounter. And yeah, I was obsessed from that point onwards. I remember sort of as a little kid, like drawing pictures of like Solid Snake and Genome Soldiers. Like, it really got its claws into me. I really enjoyed that game. And how about you, Punish? What effect did it have on you?
Oh man, it was. I actually received Metal Gear Solid the Christmas of '98. There was actually 4 games at the time that I really wanted for my PlayStation. I wanted Metal Gear Solid, I wanted Parasite Eve, Breath of Fire 2, and Tenchu Stealth Assassins. And I got 2 of those games. I got Metal Gear and I got Parasite Eve. And the first one I popped in was Metal Gear Solid, and I played it through so many times I didn't touch any of my other games for months. I mean, I was so I loved the entire layout of the game, the stealth, the storyline, being able to have different endings. I mean, you name it, everything. It brings a lot of fond memories from when I was younger.
It really showed what gaming could become and has become at the time: cinematic, emotional, action. Excuse me. The voice acting to begin with. I mean, this wasn't like Resident Evil voice acting. I mean, it is a little hammy when you look back at it nowadays, but at the time, it was like action movie quality. And yeah, so anyway, a lot of fun memories between us. So that's why we're going to have a little discussion about a potential hypothetical, if you will, trophy list that this game could have if we were to apply a trophy list to it. So let's start, as I said a little while before, let's start with the bosses, because they are key moments in the game, really memorable moments in the game. And what we're going to try and do is I'll go through the bosses, and we will just try and think of like adequate or if not funny trophy names for it. So let's start off with the very first boss in the game, and that's Revolver Ocelot. And as you remember in that game, you're in a quite confined room, a square room, and you're running around trying to shoot him and avoid C4 cables that are in the middle. You've got the President of Arms Tech in the middle, and Ocelot's taunting you as well, and you have to, of course, take advantage of his reload time because he uses that Cult Single Action Army, and he boasts about the thrill of reloading during battle. Now, let's think. What kind of trophy name would we go for this? We're gonna sort of like try and get them out and go not as quickly as we can, but we'll get a good pace of it. So, Claire, what do you think? Should we reference other Metal Gear Solid games in this?
Yeah, because that's kind of the way they did. Even like in the Metal Gear Solid, the Snake Eater trophy list, they had like a time paradox trophy, so they wanted you to kill Ocelot for us. So there's those kind of funny kind of things, you know what I mean? So
are we thinking? Personally, I'm thinking You're Pretty Good as a reference to Metal Gear Solid 3 and then to Metal Gear Solid 4 as a trophy name. Punish, any input?
See, I was thinking along the lines of when his hand gets cut off, because his hand gets cut off shortly after you do the battle, and I was thinking along the lines of you're not going to be doing that anymore, or, something quirky.
Hands up or something. Yeah. Unless you were going to go for something kind of funny or a throwback to the series, I think they would be the two most logical choices.
Oh, I know. How about Liquid's right hand man? Because he literally is his right hand man, and he also has his right hand gets cut off, so it's kind of
doesn't his right hand become Liquid hand?
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good reference because then he becomes actually Liquid's right hand man, like literally as well. So like not just figuratively as in like chain of command, but he also literally becomes Liquid in his right arm. So I think we've settled on a good one there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
So what should we say for like Liquid's right hand man? I'm taking notes, by the way, just so we've got something to go through. So Liquid's right hand man. I can imagine the trophy icon just basically being like a hand coming off or something like that. All right, moving on. Vulcan Raven is the next boss. Although he's not proper Vulcan Raven, he's actually in the tank. It's called the Gunner in the game, but it's Vulcan Raven's in that tank taunting you, and he's working the main cannon and the tank while the sort of genome soldiers, the Gunner, on top. So with that in mind, though, so it's not very Vulcan Raven heavy, that boss battle, but he is there. So Punish, any input?
Yeah, along this one is that in the Metal Gear Solid series, he's always, especially in this game particularly, everybody's like praising Snake. He's the legendary Snake and things like that. He's done that. This isn't his first rodeo, so I figured something like along the lines of this isn't my first ride, or this wasn't my first tank trip, or something like that.
The thing I always really liked about that character was that he seemed to have been able to see like. It's kind of like if any of you watched or know of Watchmen, it's like the clown in the Watchmen. He's just a kind of, that's why he always seemed to me. But what I mean was he was able to kind of know what Snake was. He was able to peer into his kind of parentage and all that, and he knew he had some kind of different kind of blood into it, wasn't it? So some Cherokee Indian blood or something like that.
Yeah,
and there's some references to that. Like, so he seemed very mystical, and he seemed like he wasn't there for the reasons that the other people were there for. The other kind of guys.
We could save that one. That train of thought. I agree with that train of thought. We could save that one for his actual boss battle further down, because he does talk a lot about shaman rituals and what was it? The Winter Games, like the ear pull and all of that. He talks a lot about that in the battle. So for the moment, let's like focus on the tank.
Okay.
I don't want to cheap one like tanks for the memories, but that's all I've got at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, just Monica put a good one in there. Goliath meet David, if you understand. So unless there's like I really had the angle, it would either going to be a throwback to the other Metal Gear series, or it's just going to be some kind of quirky, once-off kind of funny thing, you know.
Well, we can't make them all absolute gold.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's for the moment go tanks for the memory, and we could always just come back if anyone just thinks of something better than that for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. If anything pops into anyone's mind as we go along, just let me know, and we can just quickly jump back and alter it. But for the time being, just call it a placeholder for now. So tanks for the memory. It's a cliche, but it'll do for now. Okay. The next one is Grey Fox is the next boss in the game. Now this one we can have a lot of fun with. So. Standard lines for Grey Fox is like "hurt me more" and "now do you remember?" But they seem a bit easy, you know. So
I have a feeling it would be called "hurt me more" though. If it was legit gonna come out, I honestly just think we could come up with a better one. But I think I'm just saying, Like, I think if this was an actual real game, I think it would be that, you know. We can try come
Yeah,
up with a
all right
better
then.
one, but I think it naturally would be that.
No, yeah, I agree with that. Hurt Me More is fine because he says it a lot in that boss
Over.
battle routine. Yep, Hurt Me More. That's perfect. Okay, well, we're flying through these already. Next one is Psycho Mantis. Now, again, we can have a lot of fun with this one. So, what are we thinking? Like,
Oh
any
man,
thoughts?
yeah. When I think of Psycho Manus, the very first time I played him, well, fought against him, was my most memorable moment. Is when it reads the PlayStation memory card, and
Yeah,
he'll talk to you about the certain games that you played, and it was hilarious because he was like, "I've seen you playing Final Fantasy VII." And I'm sitting there like, what the hell? Stop reading my games, and that was the trophy I thought about was stop reading my games.
yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I like where we're going with this one. Also, did you in Metal Gear Solid 4 they also reference back to that because when Psycho Mantis or his personality appears in Metal Gear Solid 4, he says he alludes to reading your memory card, and then he says, "What? There's no memory card." And then it flashes like images of the PS3 where it has no memory card. It's just
Yeah.
internal hard drive, which is a pretty clever
Metal
callback.
Gear only got stranger as it went on.
Oh, definitely. So let's see. Let's let's pretend that in this version of Metal Gear Solid, he can read your hard drive and can go into your games. So let's work on that maybe. So, what are we thinking?
Oh man, there's so many different possibilities with this one. It really is. I mean, you could, and the other thing too is that you're able to actually unplug your controller and put it into the second slot
Yeah.
to keep him from reading you. Like it made the boss fight a lot easier.
Yeah,
Well, it was the only real way you could actually do the boss fight because you couldn't really beat him any other way. So, yeah, we could go with that as well. I mean, to change the controller port over, but that means you'd have to assign controller to. How about that? Something like that. Assign controller to, or something like that, like controller to on.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that.
Controller 2 on, or something along that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, also, it kind of breaks the. Kojima is really famous for
breaking the fourth wall.
Breaking the fourth wall, and we could always, do a callback to that. It's like, Snake's trained in breaking the fourth wall, or something along those lines.
And this would be a hidden trophy as well, so it would pop up after you finish and be like, controller 2 on, or whatever. So, yeah, that would be like a nice, pleasant surprise for the player after they've just beaten Psycho Mantis with. Oh no! Using the second controller, huh? Like as a question.
Yeah. I like that. I really like that.
Because you can imagine Snake saying that, like, second controller on, huh? Like that kind of like his weird way of firing a question back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I really
Claire,
like that
any
one.
objections to that?
No, sounds good.
All right, so it's second. Hold on, second. Just second controller, huh?
Yeah.
Second controller, comma, huh? Question mark has a question. Okay, cool. Because he's always like Metal Gear, or everything's always a question with Snake, so kind of makes sense it being a question. Okay, moving on. Okay, the next boss is one encounter, I should say, is Sniper Wolf, but as we know, we encounter her later. So let's move past this one because it's not really a proper boss battle because you come back later to fight Sniper Wolf in a proper battle arena, so to speak. So we'll move past that one for now. And we'll go on to the Hindy helicopter liquid boss battle at the top of the tower. So as you know, you climb up the comms tower right to the top, and you have to fight Liquid Snake as he's, whizzing around the tower in the storm, and you have to shoot out stinger missiles and eventually take him down. So, any thoughts on this one? Any inputs? We've got towers to work with as a jumping off point. We've got helicopter. We've got snowstorm, liquid. Chopper is a keyword. So anything.
A hindy. That's what I was thinking.
Just another question one.
A hindy.
Punish?
Yeah, I'm thinking now. I'm kind of thinking whenever I do this battle, I don't know why, and whenever somebody references it, I always think back to Die Hard. I don't know why. I just do. It's just kind of familiarity for me. And I was kind of thinking something like along those lines. So,
trying to think like King of the Tower, but that doesn't really make any sense. There's 2 towers, but I just do not want to make any like 9/11 like connections here at all.
Well,
so
you could do a Lord of the Rings connection, the 2 towers.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, but it doesn't really like reference the battle that you've just done. So
right. Oh man.
Unless it was like fly swatted or gotten or something like that. I don't know.
Doesn't he say something about I have to? Oh, that's it. Later on, when he's talking to Otacon, or before you fight, he goes, "I have to go, swat a
fly.
Yeah, swat a bothersome fly, or go after something like that, doesn't he?" So, if you use a part of that quote about have to go swat a fly, or fly swatted, fly swatted. Claire, what do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's add it to the list for now. So fly swatted, because he does say I have to go swat a bothersome fly or something along those lines.
Yeah, I remember it as well. Yeah.
Okay, so next one is Sniper Wolf, like the proper battle. So I'm just thinking like we have the whole love can bloom on a battlefield dialogue in that kind of part of the game. We could also reference wolves, dogs, wolf pack.
Yeah, you can also reference the diazepam that you take to steady your shots. I mean, that could be a miscellaneous trophy too, but
I was thinking something along the line of like heartbreak for Otacon, you know.
Oh, that's a good one.
He did get his heart broke, you know.
Otacon,
Not for the first time,
blocker, something like along the lines of cock blocker. I don't know.
I was thinking of something like even more like modern. I was thinking like quick scoped, like just something silly like that. But
oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, call back to the current generation of gamers.
360 quick scope.
Because you don't actually like when you play that battle, you're not sitting in one place. You have to keep moving. Yeah. She keeps moving as well.
You have to fucking fuck off all the way back to the start of the game and get the sniper rifle and come back to her.
Yeah, that we should leave that particular trophy. Sorry, that particular moment you mentioned there should be a trophy about backtracking. So we'll leave that one. We'll do that in
requirement or something.
For sure. So, what do you think?
I was actually thinking, like you just said, and I said doing quick scope, you make it like before the quick scope. Like this is how we actually had to do it before we could, do quick scope. We had to sit here and run around and actually take a steady shot.
Quick scoping before it was cool.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Thoughts, Claire?
Yeah. Why not?
Quick scoping before it was cool.
I like that one. Quick scoping before it was cool.
All right. Quick scoping before it was cool. Because you do actually quick scope. You have to sit down, quickly get into the scope, look down the sights, find her, or you can just cheat with a Nikita, which I think should maybe be a hidden trophy, but we can come back to that. I don't want to get too far off the path at the moment. So quick scoping before it was cool. Let's think. Vulcan Raven. So going back to what Claire was talking about, like shaman, spiritual. Plus, you're in a huge warehouse. He's got.
It's very cold.
Oh, I know. He's got that massive cannon, hasn't he? So it could be something. It could be something like compensating for something or something silly like that. But honestly, not too silly. I mean, the game has emotional moments, as Monica's saying in the chat. Like, obviously, there's emotional scenes, but I don't know. It's like sometimes we have emotional scenes, but sometimes a clever trophy kind of adds to the enjoyment. Like if it pops a little bit later, like obviously we're not talking about trophies popping right in the middle of an emotional scene. You'd like maybe the boss trophy will pop like when you get into the next area, once you cleared out of the area and like the emotion has calmed down. So you have like the heartbreaking scene of like Sniper Wolf and Otacon. And I can understand a trophy popping too early would be a bit of a killer for the mood. But anyway, let's just move on for now. So, Vulcan Raven, big warehouse, walking around trying to shoot him in the back. So what are we thinking? Got any ideas? Anyone?
Frozen out after you kill him, maybe, because he does die in that frozen warehouse, doesn't he? He just freeze to death on the side of it after you give him a whack or two, doesn't he?
He then turns into birds though after you kill him, or sorry, no, the birds come down and eat his corpse away completely. He vanishes and goes.
That's
he goes
very
like
shamanish. You'd have to tie it back to something like that. You know what I mean? You'd have to tie it back to his spiritual element.
He says the line, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, "I will return to Mother Earth, who once bore me." So we could say something like "Return to Mother Earth" or something like
Resurrection.
that. Yeah, exactly.
So what are you going to go for?
Cycle of life. You know.
Yeah.
There's tons of different ones where you can reference that, especially with the spiritual and the spiritual connection.
Yeah, for me, like I said, in that game, for me, he was a boss and an enemy, but he didn't seem like he was there for the reasons either. Actually, I'm pretty sure, didn't Ocelot say to Liquid about him, and he was just like, but he's just gone off, on his own, hadn't he? I'm pretty sure.
I think Vulcan Raven wanted to test Snake. I don't know. I can't remember the motive while he was there, but he was all about testing Snake's metal. The two times that because he said, "Oh, we will meet in combat again. I'm sure of it. After you beat the tank boss." And he's like, "General Ivan, I heard he took your arm as well as your dignity, or something like that." And he's like, "Watch your tongue, Shaman." And he's like, "We will meet in battle again. I know it. The raven on my forehead thirsts for his blood," or something like that. It's been a long time, but I'm paraphrasing.
What about Return to the Ravens?
Yeah. I know. Hold on. It's you've got me on a thing there. Quaff the Raven.
Quote the Raven, nevermore.
Just quaff the Raven.
Yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe reference there. How about that? Quaff the Raven.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I like that.
So for those who are wondering, it's Quoth, Quaff the Raven.
Quaff the Raven, nevermore.
Yep, that's perfect. Okay, next up we have Metal Gear X is the next proper boss in that game, boss encounter. So this one could be, I don't want it to be as like simple as Metal Gear, with the with the exclamation mark and a question mark. So
what about Rexed? Like wrecked.
Yeah, like wrecked. But how do you spell that? Let me just say, you'd be like,
R-E-X, like.
So wrecked is spelled R-E-K-T, like the the short way of spelling it online.
Yeah, something like that. What Vex has put in there. See.
What's Vex put? I see. R-E.
But I was thinking a D instead of it, so wrecked, like R-E-K-D. You know what I mean? Wrecked. Or maybe
how about what he's put there? Wrecked. R-E-X R-E-K-T. One trophy name. Wrecked.
Yeah.
Or we could have it spelt properly, like Rex, W-R-E-C-K-E-D, like wrecked. Kind of like a tongue twister. Yeah. Wrecked. Yeah, we'll go for that. So wrecked, but wrecked spelled properly with a W. Okay. Cheers for that, Vec, in the chat. Bit of inspiration there. Okay, so after this, we have like a few encounters with Liquid. We have him fighting on top of Metal Gear X when you fight him hand to hand. Then you have him in the car chase as well as you chase him out. So I think it's probably best that the trophy for Liquid being defeated maybe pops when he finally does die, because I think doing a trophy for him fighting him on Rex, then the end of the game's only about 10-20 minutes after that, so having too many trophies in that short amount of time. So I'm thinking like a Fox die reference.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Just Fox die.
Fox and then like ... die, because doesn't he like pause and say it at one point, maybe?
Yeah, right before the virus kicks in, or whatever the heck it is, it kicks in. It's like he's like Fox, and he struggles a little bit, and he's like die. So.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I wanted to maybe like no, it wouldn't work. I was thinking of breaking it up into like 2 trophies. So like when you, no, that wouldn't make sense then. Because I was thinking like, for example, like when you beat him in the handheld combat, you'd have Fox ... and then when he finally dies, die. But like I said, there's too many trophies in a short amount of time, so.
I really like that idea though. Breaking up the trophies like Fox ...
Because that would be the next trophy you'd get straight after.
Right, exactly.
And he does.
I think it fits
he
in.
does draw that line out. We could go for that. This is just a hypothetical trophy list. We don't have to stick by the rules or the standards of what like Sony and developers lay down. So if we want to go for a broken up trophy for 2 things, we could go for it if you want. If you guys agree.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So we'll make that 2 trophies. So the first one will be capitals FOX ... and then the one when he finally does die is DIE exclamation mark. So that's 2 trophies because beat Metal Gear X. Because also there's a lot of cutscenes in between as well if you don't like skip them or anything. So I suppose the trophies are spaced out a little bit more. Okay, guys. So that is all the bosses done. So let's just go through. So we've got for Ocelot, Liquid's right hand man. For the tank, Tanks for the memory. For Grey Fox, Hurt Me More. For Psycho Mantis, second controller, huh? For the Hind D, Fly Swatted. For Sniper Wolf, quick scoping before it was cool. Vulcan Raven, Quoth the Raven. Metal Gear Rex, Rex Wrecked. And for Liquid, Fox and Die. So I think we did a pretty sweet job with the boss trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy those ones. I think that's really awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so now that the boss is out of the way, I'd say that's the easy ones. That's like the big points in the game. So let's. I've noted a few story beats down here. So certain parts that obviously aren't bosses, but are important turning points within the story. So what I've got here, I'll read through them and we'll go through potential trophies. So the first things first. The big turning point would be DARPA Chief. So when the DARPA Chief has his heart attack, that kind of really kicks the game up into the next level. So if Snake's just there to rescue these like hostages. So, but when the DARPA Chief reveals all what's going on, then he suddenly has a heart attack. That's when the game kicks up a notch into like what the hell's going on. So, any ideas for potential DARPA Chief?
I think
trophies.
I know it's kind of spoilerish even at that point, but you wouldn't understand that after that. But I think it should reference that it's not actually the DARPA Chief. Like it's the heart attack.
It should reference Decoy Octopus.
Yeah, that's a good one. But be subtle about it. So if the first time
so you
playing
wouldn't know it, yeah.
But if you played it, if you're like say us and we played it again, we could like enjoy it. So, that's
decoy something found or something like that, or revealed.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So you wouldn't like if you just seen it, you wouldn't.
Like.
It's something like that, something to allude that like obviously it's like that. Because for those who don't know, the Ocelot and Liquid tortured the DARPA Chief to death.
Yeah. Well, that's just not what it looks like. ...
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not what it looks like.
Because that alludes to several things. Firstly, literally, he's not what he looks like because he's Decoy Octopus, and secondly, not what it looks like in terms of the entire game. This isn't what it looks like because Metal Gear Solid is never what it looks like. It's always like some crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
Like on multiple levels. So, yeah. Not what it looks like?
Not what it looks like.
Okay, not what it looks like... ... or ellipse, for those who want to know what the ... is called. A little fact there for you. Anyway, next story beat I've got is the Arms Tech President. So, again, but he's the real deal this time. It's not like anyone in disguise. Or anything like that. He dies from a heart attack from Fox Die, but his story is about wasn't he taking bribes or something to do with the black market? He was being paid a lot of money for Arms Tech to be doing like this black project that was Metal Gear Rex. So did it for the money or something like that?
Because, during the scene he keeps referencing like did Jem do this or did this come from the Pentagon and things like that? Maybe we should like reference that. Like,
I know. I got one. Sorry to interrupt there. It just popped into my head. When Snake goes to him bribes, he goes, "I prefer to think of it as good business." So good business could be one.
Good business. Yeah, that's perfect. Actually,
good business pays well.
because he's all about selling arms and all of that. Like he's a pretty corrupt president of that company, because that's how it got into him manufacturing the Metal Gear project.
Yeah.
Through taking like backhanders off of government from government higher ups.
Yeah. Or it was just good business. You know, it was just good business, something like that, or something along those lines.
How about just good business? Because that would pop slightly after the dialogue anyway, so you'd get the reference immediately.
Yeah, that's perfect. I like that.
You okay with that, Claire?
Yeah, sounds good.
Nice. Okay. Next story beat I've got is well, firstly, Meryl comes first, but I'm going to combine that with something else a little later down. So I'm going to go for Otacon right now. So for Otacon, after I would say,
So you should reference your PC's pants.
I don't know. I think that might be a bit crass for the. But then again, some trophies are a little bit on the nose. But I was thinking, you've got obviously the Grey Fox fight. You beat Grey Fox, then you get the Hurt Me More trophy. So then you've got quite a little bit of dialogue from Otacon about Metal Gear and referencing science and building robots and all of that. So once you rescue Otacon, you could probably get a trophy for that afterwards. These will all be like bronze trophies, so there's like a ton of trophies in this game. So because it's very like story heavy, so I'm thinking you could just get a trophy every time you know get to a big turning point in the game. So has anyone? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Has anyone got any thoughts as what we could have for like the trophy that would pop after you finish talking with Otacon and then?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe along the lines of like referencing the anime, like
I was thinking that too.
Snake going like, you know, WTF is anime, or WTF is
my waifu, or something like that.
My waifu or something like that. Yeah.
Weeaboo. No, we can't have that. We can't have that as a trophy. I think we need to be a little bit more sort of like, I don't know. Because he says this is just like one of my. Does he say it's just like one of my animes?
Yeah, he says that. Yeah.
How about just like the anime?
That's perfect. Yeah, you're rescuing your your like sidekick or whatever. I don't know.
What do you think, Claire?
Yeah, I feel it's kind of same. Like I'm not too sure. Like if we're gonna just reference that, yeah.
Just like the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, we happy with that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
All right, just like the anime. Cool. Okay. The next one is story beat for me would be after that you have you go find Meryl, of course. You track her down. You talk to her in the bathroom. Then you have Psycho Mantis battle. But then you also have she gets shot by Sniper Wolf on the approach to the communication towers. I'm thinking probably after that's somewhere in there we need a trophy to do with Meryl. So I'm thinking we could go for the thing where you basically track her down by looking at her ass. Basically, you have to look at the soldiers and see the way she wiggles her ass. Basically, there's no two ways of saying it. That's literally what you have to do.
Snake would have been fucked if there had been a very very a male who kind of walked that way, if you understand. You know what I mean? What would he have done then? He would have tapped up the wrong person. Could have been anyone.
So, what do you think? Do you want to do a pun for looking at her behind or something like that?
Looking for assets or great assets.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. But it could be spelt like capital letters ASS and then lowercase.
Yep.
What do you think, Claire? Can you outdo that one or?
No, not on the spot.
How about asset acquired? Because you have to kind of acquire, acquire her, so to speak. Like you go and find her and team up with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. I like that one. That one tops mine right there. Asset acquired.
Or asset secured. What do you prefer?
Oh man. See, acquired is kind of like thinking that he kind of owns it now. So asset is secured is like if he kind of protecting it. So.
And he is there to protect her because that's what Campbell's on about, like looking out for his needs.
Right. Yeah. So I would probably go with asset secured then.
Okay, asset secured. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asset secured. Capital ASS, lowercase ET. Secured. That's a good one. I love a good pun in a trophy name. Okay, next one is after that would be the Torture by Ocelot. Now we could reference the whole not using a turbo controller, or we could say, does your fingers hurt yet? Your fingers tired yet? Your wrist tired yet? Anything like that?
Well, see, with this one, I was thinking that it should be 2 different trophies.
Okay.
Because if you survive the torture,
yes, that's true.
One person is saved. If you decide not to withstand the torture, another person is saved.
I didn't even think of that. So, all right, we've already said basically this is obviously going to be breaking the whole game apart. So let's not worry about spoilers here, so to speak. But yeah, okay. Well, one person survives, or another person survives based on who it is, who whether you give in to the torture and fail it, because you can submit, like you can fail it, so to speak, and get game over, and then you continue and then carry on. But you can submit, and then someone dies, or you can hold out as long as you can, and then someone survives. But well, technically both of them survive, but it's a different ending. Okay, so yeah, 2 trophies sounds like a good idea. So what do you think? So technically the bad ending would be, spoilers, okay? We can't really dance around this. The bad ending would be when Meryl dies, because in the canon and continuity of Metal Gear Solid, Meryl survives. She's in, Metal Gear Solid 4. So the bad ending is her dying and Otacon getting out. So the good ending is obviously her surviving. Otacon, he stays behind, but he ultimately does survive, making the good ending, the canon ending. So Meryl dying is a bad ending. So we need to find something negative to call a trophy. So like something about giving up or something.
Not cool, bro.
You broke your promise, because he promised Campbell that he would save her.
Yeah.
You broke your promise. So,
what do you think, Claire? Something like that?
That's very heavy, man.
I can't really think of anything else, really. Let's just go with that for now and move on. So, you broke your promise. Because, Ocelot says something about him having a lot of fun or something like that once you give in. So now we need to find something where you succeed. So I think it should be something like... because later on in that game, there's a bit in the game where you're in the cell after the torture sequence where you phone up Mei Ling or Naomi, and you put the controller to your arm and it vibrates and massages your arm, because your arm would be tired from all the button tapping or the button mashing going on. So obviously the game is aware that your arm would be tired, so I think the trophy should probably reflect that as well. So arm tired yet? Hand tired yet? Question mark? Something like that?
Well, I mean, this is another throwback to like the PS1, but this was the first time that they had the dual shock capability. So maybe do like a throwback to the first dual shock controller, or the Rumble controller, or however they called it at the time. So,
but that's not the Rumble thing. Does the massage, so to speak, doesn't come along until after, because we need to.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
No, but then again, you don't know. Oh, wait, no, sorry. You don't just like succeed at the torture. You keep going back and back and back until eventually Otacon breaks you out. So there wouldn't be a moment where it's like, oh no, wait. But then when you are broken out by Otacon, then you could get the trophy saying like, had enough yet.
Oh, see,
doesn't Otacon say that or something like that? Sorry, Ocelot.
Yeah. Ocelot says that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go with had enough yet. And that would be the alternate trophy, which means this game would require 2 playthroughs or creative saving.
Well, and that gets back to the ending of the game, and depending on who you save, because you get depending on who you save, you either get the stealth unit or you get the headband that gives you infinite ammo.
Yeah, that's true.
So you would have to do 2 playthroughs anyway.
That is true. Okay, last story beat I have currently is the PAL keys. Now you have to do a lot of back and forth with changing the shape of the cards. You have to go back to the furnace and heat the card, You have to stand around in like the warehouse you were with Vulcan Raven to change the card to cold, and then you just have a room temperature key. So something about temperature. I'm thinking. Any ideas, Claire?
Red hot.
But it'd have to reflect the different states of the keys in one trophy. So, like, you would get the trophy after entering all 3 PAL keys, all different the red, the blue, and the yellow. So once you did the last PAL key, you'd get the trophy. So it had to be something that reflects all the temperatures in one.
I would call the trophy not needed, because for those who know, there was a trick, wasn't it? Because Ocelot couldn't turn it on, so he got Snake to do it. Remember? It was already activated and they thought it was going to be cancelled when Snake used the PAL key, but then he found out he actually turned on Rex, and Ocelot deceived him.
Yeah, they tricked him. Yeah, because he says there is a trick to it, because when Ocelot's torturing him, he does say something like, "What's the trick to that key?" or something like that. So
yeah, I don't know. Like, from what I can remember is that they fucked it up, or they couldn't figure it out or something like that, so they just let Snake do it, and Snake was led to believe that if it was activated, he'd just have to do it again and it would be deactivated, but he was the one that activated it in the first place, if you understand. And that started up Rex, because that leads straight into the Rex fight then. So something like that's all I could think of, like not needed or something along those kind of lines.
Maybe something to do with the word PAL, P-A-L, some kind of pun we could put into that, like no, that's lame. I was going to say best pals, but that doesn't make any sense.
See, me, when it comes to those the keys, I always think back to when I'm running back and forth and I'm trying to find all the areas where I can activate the keys.
The backtracking is really annoying.
Yeah, who thought my whole every time I played that part, it was who thought of this? Like, seriously.
That's it. Perfect. Because I was just thinking, like, how is this fun? Would be like like alluding to how this isn't actually that fun. So, who thought of this? Would be great to like self-reference the game's kind of chore nature to go all the way back and back and back. Because I hated that bit as a kid, having to climb all them bloody ladders to get to the control room.
Exactly.
Yeah, are we happy with that? Who thought of this? Because what a roundabout way. Who thought of this? I'd go for question mark, exclamation mark. So like, it's sort of like a statement, an annoyed statement. Okay, so that's like the main story beats covered so far. So we've got not what it looks like for the DARPA chief. We have good business for Arms Tech president. We have just like the anime for Otacon. We have asset secured for meeting up with Meryl. You broke your promise for failing the torture. Had enough yet for surviving the torture. And who thought of this for the PAL keys? Now, I'm thinking we could do some miscellaneous trophies now. Like, if you've played Metal Gear Solid, you should know there's kind of weird, random bits that you can do in the game that don't necessarily pertain to the story, but like kind of like side quests would obviously be the wrong term to, but there's things you can do, and there's certain methods you have to do to progress the story, hidden areas in certain parts of the game. As Claire mentioned earlier, the backtracking for the sniper rifle is something that's really annoying if I'm honest. So, guys, can you think of any sort of miscellaneous stuff? I've got a few, but I want to hear if you guys have got anything first. So, Claire, have you got anything?
We have to reference the wolves and the handkerchief stuff. I was thinking.
Yes.
That would be a good point to get there, because then the wolves all just come up to you and have hearts, and they love you, and they don't attack you anymore. I believe if you get her handkerchief.
Yes.
Just for collecting items.
If you survive the torture and Otacon breaks you out of the cell, he gives you a ration, some ketchup to fake your death, and he also gives you Sniper Wolf's handkerchief, which has her scent on it. So when you backtrack through the caves after Psycho Mantis, you don't get ripped apart by the wolves that live there. But there's also an alternative as well. When you're going through there the first time with Meryl, if you equip the cardboard box, if you if you like punch Meryl, then quickly put the cardboard box on, she whistles, a wolf comes over and pees on the box, therefore marking the box with a scent. So if you give in to the torture and don't acquire the handkerchief, there's also another way of getting through the caves without getting ripped apart. So you equip the box, and as Claire said, the wolves will approach you, not attack you, and they get a love heart above their head, and that's for both the box and the handkerchief because of the smell. So, do you have anything in mind, Claire, for that kind of like area of the game?
No, that was just basically it. Like, just kind of, I was thinking about like the special items that you could have. And one thing I wanted to ask, I was actually unsure if this was in the original Metal Gear. Did they have the ghosts in there with the camera?
They did, yes. Yeah, they did, from what I remember. I never did it myself, but I remember
Yeah.
reading guides, like PlayStation guides, and it did mention the ghost in it. So if you get the digital camera after completing the game, you could take pictures, and there were like ghosts, which were like basically photos of the developers superimposed into certain areas of the game.
Yeah, I was thinking something along those lines as well. Maybe that could be a collectible.
Well, we could do a trophy for getting the box peed on, because that's not something you need to do. That's basically a hidden trophy, something you need to go out of your way to do.
Yeah.
So how about getting the box peed on then? So we need to think of something for the box, to get the wolf to pee on the box, so you can.
That new box smell.
Oh,
That's perfect.
that's brilliant. Good one. You've got a hole in one. That new box smell. That new box. Okay, cool. Punish, do you have any miscellaneous?
Oh yeah, I got a couple. The first one is I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but this is a reference to the SNL skit "Dick in a Box."
Oh yeah,
And-
by a Lonely Island and Justin
yeah.
Timberlake.
Yep. So this one I called "It's a Snake in a Box," and you have to walk around in the little cardboard box for 5 minutes for an accumulated time of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
When I used to play Metal Gear Solid, I never really used boxes, like hardly ever. So that would be a good one to encourage you to use the boxes. So yeah, snake in a box, that could work. Use the boxes for like a total of 5 or 10 minutes or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And then
that's cool.
another one.
I'll add that one in. So snake in a box. Yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect.
I like that one. Okay, moving on. What you got next?
The next one is a reference to Colonel Campbell, and the trophy would be called "Those Things Will Kill You," and you have Snake smoke a pack of cigarettes, and the trophy would pop. You would have to sit there and smoke the cigarette until your life is like you're barely about to die, and then the trophy would pop.
Yeah, that's true. The equipping the cigarettes does slowly chip away at your life, and you have to use them to. And if you don't acquire the thermal goggles, you have to use a cigarette to get through the lasers to get out into the tank boss area. So yeah, that also sounds like another kind of time cumulative one as well. Like smoke a cigarette for like a minute or something like that.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah, those things will kill you. Again, just saying, these trophies are all like hypothetical, so we're not going to stick to the rules of like, oh, this game needs like 40 trophies, 50 trophies. This is just us having fun as fans of the game. So, it doesn't have to adhere to the rules of like standard trophy lists or anything like that. Well, we're not going to like say like, oh, this is going to be a bronze, or this is going to be a silver, or this is going to be a gold. We won't really need to go into that. We're just sort of like chucking trophy names out. We can do that towards the end, but let's just get some trophy names in here. So those things will kill you, and they actually will, because if you equip it for too long, your life drains out and you die.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
I was thinking.
Yep, and then I had. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well-informed Snake. When you initially start the game, there is a briefing at the main menu, and it gives you a complete backstory of
Yes.
all the Foxhound guys and why you're there.
That's when
Snake's
Naomi.
hair is very long.
Yeah, that's when Naomi slips on the fox eye shirt, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
All those like animated little still images
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah, that's a good one. I can't think of anything else you could do for that anyway. So, well-informed Snake. I mean, it's briefing, but that briefing is kind of boring, and it's even literally called briefing as well. Like the actual tab on the menu is called briefing. So, well-informed Snake. Yeah. Yeah. That seems fine. So, well-informed Snake. Is that anything else, Punisher, you've got for miscellaneous?
I just had 2 more. And
All right, go for it.
Okay, so the first one was not bored for the next 24 hours, and it's referencing Mei Ling. Well, Mei Ling, at the beginning when she introduces herself, Snake is very flirty with her, like very, very flirty with her. So, and at the end of it, he's like, well, I'm not going to be bored the entire time I'm here. I just give you a call, and the trophy would pop, but you have to call Mei Ling also to save. So it was in reference to actually calling her to save your game and everything. So it would pop after you called Mei Ling 10 times.
Well, I have a trophy actually that I was hoping to do that, like hear all the movie anecdotes, because don't they talk about movies together? And like action movies and stuff like that, you have to call her. She talks about like King Kong.
No, that's Metal Gear Solid 3 when you're talking to paramedic.
Damn.
But in a similar vein, though, in regards to like multiple calls to Mei Ling, there's one where if you keep calling Mei Ling and keep pressing Do Not Save, eventually she'll stop talking to you and then she'll poke her tongue out at you. Then that's when you get Not Bored for 24 Hours trophy.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
But basically trolling Mei Ling.
Yeah, that's good. All right.
All right, what was that trophy called? Not Bored
for the next 24 hours.
20 hours. Okay. If that's what you've got for miscellaneous, was that it?
No, I have one more, and
right.
That was before you fight before you fight Shaman, you can actually shoot at his ravens and kill him. So I put that down as a trophy, as like killing like 5 or 10 of the ravens. So.
Okay. Isn't there a trophy in another Metal Gear Solid game that has trophies called like cruelty or something for shooting seagulls or birds or something?
It's Metal Gear Solid 2, and if you shoot at the seagulls, they poop on you or something like that, and that's when it pops. I can't remember. Sorry.
Well, I suppose you could shoot at them. They're pretty tricky to shoot at because there's not really first person in that game other than like the Stinger missile and the PSG-1 as well. So I'll leave that one for now.
Okay.
And Klair, have you got any more miscellaneous?
I was thinking there should be a trophy for seeing hearing all the different death screens, like the epic death things,
See, now here comes on, because I've got a list of miscellaneous trophies as well, and I actually have one which is very similar to what you've just suggested. I have die 10 times, and it's called Snake. Like, that's it. Snake.
Yeah.
Exclamation mark. Snake. Loads of A's. Die 10 times, but we could work it out together and come up with something like that.
Yeah, I think the name is perfect, but the die 10 times, it should be, I was thinking like hear every like antidote of the antidote, you know what I mean, like at the
anecdote,
yeah, at the end of the screen, you know what I mean, like, because he says a lot of different things, and there's just a few different ones, so enough.
You'd have to die quite a lot of times though to get them all to cycle through, because you have all the different characters saying it, and they all come at different times as well. So like if you're with Meryl, you get Meryl's one, sometimes you get Campbell's one, sometimes you get Master Miller's one, so it would take you quite a long time to do that.
Yeah, I think it would be a good silver.
Yeah, it would be because it could be missable too, because after Master Miller reveals himself to be Liquid Snake, you wouldn't get that anymore.
Yeah, that one sounds like a real pain in the ass to get, actually.
Yeah. Fuck trophy hunters. I bet you that's what developers are like, just sitting around. Yeah, fuck them, do it.
Let's make a compromise. What about here 10 different game over screens? Because you wouldn't necessarily get them after 10 deaths, because sometimes they're the same ones.
Yeah, sounds good.
That would be a little bit more kinder on trophy hunters, because if you had to find them all, because there are loads of different contexts, because there's even ones that where I'm sure like a boss laughs at you or something when you die. I might be thinking of another Metal Gear Solid game, but I'm sure there's one with like Liquid saying like it's not over yet, or there's loads. So I'm thinking here 10 different game over screens.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go for that then. So the snake one would be here. I'm just writing the description here. 10 different game overs. Okay, Klair, any more miscellaneous?
No, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got a few miscellaneous ones here for myself. For all weapons, because the weapons aren't really missable. There's maybe like one or two that are missable, but generally, if you go in every room in the game, you find everything. And sorry, not just weapons, equipment as well. Like for example, like the night vision goggles, you don't really need them. You can miss them. You don't really need to pick them up. But if you explore everywhere, everything's pretty much unmissable if you're thorough enough. I was just thinking calling it fully stocked.
Yeah.
If anyone has.
That's a good one. I like that.
If anyone has any objections to that or anything better, I don't mind hearing it. No?
No, nothing I can think of, man. I think I really like that one.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go for that one. I'll keep that one then on my list. So find all weapons and equipment, fully stocked. Okay, here's one that I wanted to add into the game. Listen to all codec cutscenes and also cutscenes in general without skipping them at all, and it's called Exposition as the trophy. You get it at the end of the game.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a ball ache.
Oh, says you who wanted to hear every single game over screen that
Yeah,
randomly generates.
there's 100 times more individual codec calls than there is game over screens.
Oh no, I just sort of meant like the key ones, like the red unskippable codec ones, when it rings and it's red.
I thought you meant the entire, every single codec line in the game. I was like, you evil bastard.
No. Don't skip any cutscenes and just basically don't fast forward through any essential storyline ones. The ones that flash blue, like when it flashes blue, you don't have to answer it, but the ones that flash red, it automatically opens it up and answers it for you. So, it could be a little vague, actually. It'd be a tricky one to do if you didn't know the requirements completely. I would say don't skip any cutscenes. What about remove the codecs out of it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
because the codecs, there's loads of them, and you might have trouble thinking what's missable or not. I'm trying to think of it from a point of view as a trophy hunter as well. Like, how would it be not a pain in the ass to do? So watch all cutscenes without skipping. It's called Exposition. So, you should be watching them all anyway if you're playing it through the first time. Otherwise, you won't know what's going on. And generally, you wouldn't skip it unless by accident. Watch all cutscenes. Okay, this one's one that's seen a lot of other Metal Gear Solid games. A no alerts playthrough, not including any ones that happen automatically for the story. I was going to call it It's a Ghost because if you remember when Grey Fox is cutting all them soldiers up in the corridor, one guy goes, "It's a ghost." Yeah. So I was thinking like a ghost, unseen. Unless you guys can think of anything better, of course.
No, that's perfect in my opinion. I really like that one.
Claire?
No, that's good.
Okie dokie. Another miscellaneous one I've got is in the game. I think after you get tortured and run around without a shirt on for a while, without collecting your gear, or if you're out in the cold for too long, I'm not sure what the exact requirement is. The snake can catch a cold and start sneezing, and that could, draws attention of the soldiers. So if you're like standing still for a while, who do a really loud sneeze, but you can find cold medicine if you backtrack far enough. I was gonna trophy requirements: catch cold and cure it with cold medicine. I was gonna call it Sneezing Snake.
Sounds good, yeah, that's a good one.
That is a really good one, man.
Okay, cool.
Cure a cold.
Okay, next one I was thinking, this one's like the final trophies in the game, but it's also a difficulty one as well. This one is a direct reference to dialogue from from Liquid Snake. Okay, this one. There can be only one snake, ... complete the game, ... different trophy, ... and one big boss, complete the game on extreme. So it's 2 trophies, 1 quote over 2 of them. There can be only one snake, complete the game, and then when you complete the game on extreme or harder mode or whatever it's called in the game, I can't really remember right now, it's called and one big boss, because naturally you completing it on hardest mode would give you the title of big boss.
Yeah, kind of like the other ones. I think some of the other ones are done like that.
Yeah, like in other games.
Well, the other Metal Gear games, yeah.
Okay, well, we've got miscellaneous ones, so is there any other ones you guys can think of before we sort of move on? Because we're getting sort of to the end of it now, and there's only really one major trophy left to talk about, so if anyone wants to add anything else, can you guys think of any little bits?
The only one I could really think of is this game is very, very well known for speed runs, and maybe making a particular speedrun trophy, because there are people.
Why are you guys and your speedruns? I hate speedruns.
But there's people. I think the record right now is like 1 hour and 8 minutes that somebody's been able to push through. But I'm not going to go extreme like that. I was thinking maybe something like 4 to 5 hours.
Well, maybe complete the game in like 6 hours. You could, or something like that. But once you skip all the cutscenes, because then again you do your cutscene run through for the cutscene trophy, and then you could do one where you could just skip it all through.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could. Yeah, I suppose if once you cut all the cutscenes out, you could get that game done in a couple of hours. So what would be a good thing for that? So would you say 5 hours is reasonable? 6 hours?
Yeah, 5 to 6 hours is usually.
Be generous with it. So like complete the game in under 6 hours.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So what would we call that trophy though?
I was going to call it.
No, go on. Why don't you say yours first?
I was just going to say like Extreme Snake or something like that.
No, I got one better than that, my friend. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's what
perfect. It references it to when he at the beginning of the game.
There we go. Age hasn't slowed you down. Was it 1 bit or a bit? I can't remember what Campbell says.
It was 1 bit. Yeah.
1 bit. And then the requirement would be complete the game in under 6 hours. Nice. Okay. Age hasn't slowed you down 1 bit. Complete the game in under 6 hours. Okay, so I think that's probably enough trophies other than the platinum, which we'll discuss shortly. So, just a really quick recap. I'm not going to recap the bosses. We've recapped that already. Not going to recap the story. So the ones we've got so far is that new box smell for getting the box peed on, snake in a box that's used a cardboard box for a cumulative amount of minutes, like 10 minutes or something. Those things will kill you. So that was smoke a cigarette for a while, or maybe even get a game over with a cigarette. That would be a fun one to do. You'd have to stand there and wait a bit, but yeah, those things will kill you. Smoke a cigarette for a while. Well-informed snake is watch all the briefings before the main menu. Not bored for the next 24 hours is when you troll mailing by not saving. Here, 10 different game over screens. Snake. Find all the weapons/equipment fully stocked. Watch all cutscenes without skipping. Exposition. Here, 10... Oh, sorry, I already read that one. I copied it twice. No alerts except story. It's a ghost. Catch a cold and cure it with medicine. Sneezing snake. There can be only one snake. Complete the game. And one big boss. Complete the game on extreme. Age hasn't slowed you down 1 bit. Complete the game in under 6 hours. So I think that's a pretty snazzy trophy list there, because you've got a difficulty trophy, you've got a timed trophy as well, and watch all cutscenes, find all the weapons. So these are pretty standard game trophies anyway. Find all the equipment. Don't skip stuff, because I've played games before where you get a trophy for not skipping any cutscenes or dialogue, like point and clicks, etc., etc. So yeah. So guys, let's discuss the platinum for all of this. What would be the big platinum now? I was thinking something along the lines of using Shadow Moses. So like,
yeah, me too. The hero Shadow Moses.
The hero Shadow Moses.
Yeah, that's why everyone refers to him in Metal Gear Solid 2, though. You know, in Metal Gear Solid 3, they often refer to Snake as the hero Shadow Moses.
Yes, that's true. Because Raiden, when they're talking to Raiden, he's like the hero of Shadow Moses, like in the very first cutscene of the Big Show.
It's obvious a title that Snake is extremely uncomfortable with, and you know what I mean. Like, and he was never kind of like that anyway. But I just think it would be fitting. I think.
What do you think, Punish?
Oh, I completely agree. But either the hero of Shadow Moses, but I'm this one I'm referencing back to Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was the return to Shadow Moses because he ended up having to ultimately go back. So
I suppose that wouldn't work in this instance, because in this hypothetical situation you'll be playing it for the first time. So
that's true.
Return wouldn't make sense.
That's true.
So the platinum trophy would be the hero of Shadow Moses. So I would say this game is pretty doable in terms of trophies. I mean, it's the extreme mode. Is it extreme mode on Metal Gear Solid 1? I'm trying to think.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the easy, the normal, hard, and then extreme is the last one, and you have to unlock. It's blacked out when you start the game. You have to unlock it.
Yeah, extreme would be really tricky, wouldn't it? Especially with them old. But hey, it's a challenge, isn't it? But then again, I don't think we need to add any trophies for the alternate endings, to be honest, because complete the game. I mean, we've got enough trophies. Unless you guys want to add trophies for the alternate endings.
No. I don't think so, because it kind of gets back to the torture scene, because we split off the 2 trophies from the torture scene. It kind of ties into that right there.
You could actually use a save, couldn't you, and fail the torture, then wind it back.
Nope, you can't. The original game wouldn't let you do that, because I tried doing it, and it wouldn't let you do it.
Really?
I believe so. I think it does like an autosave or something like that automatically after the torture scene happens. So
No, you could definitely use. There was definitely save slots for sure. You could save it. You could save the game before, just when after you get captured after Sniper Wolf. Then you go go back.
It's possible. I might be thinking about a different game then.
We're trying to design our own way to cheat our very own trophy list.
If you can't save scum this, man, I'm not interested.
All right, so overall, let me just have a quick count here. So, include every trophy we've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bosses. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's including the story. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And then 31 trophies altogether if you include the platinum. So that's a pretty decent sized trophy list, to be honest, because like a really big game would have like 40 upwards. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
About 31 trophies, including the platinum, is a pretty decent trophy list.
Yeah, I think it's a really decent list, especially for a game that would be, kind of quote unquote redone or remastered with the new trophy list. So,
yeah, I'd say that's pretty decent. And you would get most of them trophies just in one playthrough anyway, if you knew where to go. And if you did selective saving, you'd probably have to obviously do the speed run in a different one. And yeah, so you could do selective saving on the torture scene and get both, then complete the game. But then you'd have to complete the game again in extreme mode because, like you said, it doesn't unlock until you complete the game. Probably 3 playthroughs would be required.
Yeah,
I think to get our hypothetical platinum for Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty happy with that list. How about you guys?
Yeah, me too. I think they rounded up well.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think we did a pretty good job there.
Yeah, excellent. Well, guys, that was really fun, actually. That was really fun having a discussion, a back and forth about trophies and all that. It's nice to kind of like be on the other side of trophies, even in a hypothetical manner, and like, making our own and designing our own, which was really fun. So, it'll be good to do this again. And as I said, this is kind of like a pilot episode, so to speak, and just testing the waters for these type of episodes. But I hope everyone who's listening to this has enjoyed listening, and I hope you guys have come up with some creative trophies in your mind. And if you're on the Discord, we'd also like to hear any trophies, any feedback in future, maybe in future episodes or whatnot. But yeah, this has been great, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. We're hoping to do like other series and stuff like that as well, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. As Claire said, we're looking at taking loads of other different old games that don't necessarily have any trophies. Like, we're not talking about remakes or remasters, we're talking about the original games, probably pretty old games of all different genres, and we'll get people on who have more experiences in those games. So, like, for example, what was another one that we were thinking of doing, Claire?
PlayStation 1?
No, just in general. We were having a back and forth about like other potential games that we could do these trophy lists on.
I believe SFG, did you mention something like Castlevania or Legacy of Kain?
Yeah,
Legacy of Kain and stuff like that.
Symphony of the Night. Yeah, Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, so for example, like I'm well versed on Metal Gear Solid, but I don't really know much about Castlevania because I've never played them. So we'll get people on who are very fond of those games, so they can put their passion into building the trophy list, so to speak. So we'll try and get different people on, and we'll keep on making these hypothetical trophy list episodes. So guys, that is pretty much it for this episode. I think we've rounded it up very nicely. Ended on a platinum trophy in typical trophy list fashion. So guys, let's do a sign off. So Punish, where can people find you?
You guys can find me at Twitter, and my Twitter handle is ssg_punish.
Claire, where can people find you?
I'll be on Twitter at Clair.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at Tadazil. Thank you for listening. As always, you can find our episodes on our YouTube channel, The Trophy Trust. Please support us there by subscribing to future episodes. You can also find updates on our Twitter at The Trophy Trust. There is a link in the profile there where you can, if you're not a member already, you can find a link to join our Discord server and become part of the community and join in on all the stuff we do, including these podcasts. If you enjoy our show, why not consider supporting us on Patreon? for as little as $1 a month. We're strictly a non-profit podcast. However, server hosting costs need to be paid to keep all our episodes up. This has been the Trophy Trust. Keep on hunting. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye, guys. Take care.